Good morning, esteemed members of the School Managing Committee, Honorable Principal Sir, respected teachers, and my dear friends. I am Bushra Mobeen of Class 12D and I am going to speak some lines about how much time and what effort will it take to make the economy strong again after the pandemic is over. As we all know, the pandemic wandered across the world, and the result was that now humans are prohibited from wandering around. The COVID 19 pandemic is first and foremost a human health tragedy, and then it approaches towards affecting the economy worldwide. It will move off, leaving behind many homeless, many jobless, and many would have lost much more. The shattered down industries and markets are coping with their economic losses just either by cutting off salaries of the employees or unemploying them. It would take years to put back the economy on the same track, but yet there is also no reason to get despair. With the right resolve and priorities and many sources of strength, the virus can be beaten back and even we can set stage for a more hopeful and better tomorrow. A continuous effort, longing day-night, is needed to tackle the recession experienced by many value chains. Every government needs to think about providing employment to the unemployed crowd by thinking of new possible fields as soon as possible, as increasing the economy of individuals will increase the economy of the country in turn. The government needs to pick up right resolves and priorities. Firstly, the immediate priority is to suppress the spread of this invisible enemy. Then the government needs to draw on sources of strength. Countries like US and Europe can spend 10% more of their GDP without any stress and fear. But the developing poor countries, which were already fiscal deficit, needs to adopt much more efficient strategies, and this shall start with reducing and cutting back less important expenditures. In areas with less infection, people can get back to work with precaution and safety measures. Initially, only a handful of employees would be sufficient to restart the effort. Surplus workers may lead to more harsh conditions. High level regular sanitization of working places, regular temperature and health checkups of the workers, proper social distancing between them, and more precautions must be taken when employees get back to work. First of all, the government needs to think innovative ways for helping those viable industries and enterprises which have considerable human and physical capital embedded in. Then, small and medium enterprises, not all but some, can and must be given support and can be saved by giving some amount from limited fiscal sources. It becomes the responsibility of each nation to look after the survival of the poor and non-salaried. Moreover, government should call on people with more expertise and capabilities to manage responses, and the politics should be much more focused on employment and healthcare. In short, comprehensive long-term strategies including three steps: supporting important sectors, enhancing education and skills, and avoiding useless expenditure will help us much more. These measures can slowly but take the economic level back towards stability. And lastly, stay home, stay safe, take care, and thank you.
Good morning, esteemed members of the School Managing Committee, Honorable Principal Sir, respected teachers, and my dear friends. I, Harshmeet Kaur of Class 12B, is going to put forth my views on impact of pandemic on the economy worldwide. Our world is full of magic and wonders, where along with profound happiness, we also find intense sadness around the corners. Several epidemics, destructive earthquakes, tsunamis, and disasters have been witnessed in several corners of the world. But the pandemic of COVID 19 has proved to be the most death-dealing. More than 180 countries have witnessed its devastating effect. Every street, every corner is affected by COVID 19. The coronavirus not only took away the life of millions but also became precarious for our economy. We have come a long way from the ancient era. Countries covered a long journey from being underdeveloped to a developing nation. It took over years for countries to lift up their economy. But after the outbreak of COVID-19, economic crisis unleashed again. Earning our bread, trying to survive or thrive, its effect became adverse at an extent of human experience. The pandemic has pushed the global economy into a recession, which means the economy is shrinking and growth has declined. Major causes of the economic crisis is travel ban across the countries as most of the business dependent on air traffic. Also, small scale and medium classes business are shut down. Cancellation and postponements of public activities drastically reduced consumer spending across the countries and brought the velocity of spending down, which automatically resulted in increase of the prices of goods. Due to business being forced to reduce operations and shut down, an increasing number of people lost their jobs and became unemployed, which is another major cause of financial crisis. In response, so far, immediate rate cut measures have been taken by the central banks of the countries to calm the financial market. But according to IMF, the global economy is expected to shrink over 3% in 2020, the steepest slowdown since the Great Depression of 1930s. Economies such as the US, Japan, UK, Germany, France, Italy, and Spain are expected to contract this year by 5 to 9%. India's GDP slipped to 6.5% in 2008 financial crisis, but the fears of the GDP growth falling below 4% are now. But as we know, change is the necessity of life. So, all the nation not only need to stop the spreading of the disease but also need to prevent the economic crisis and maintain financial stability. Stakeholders should heed an important lesson from the financial crisis of 2008. Recovery is only possible through coordination of global action. Past crisis shows how we can learn and grow. As the virus abates, countries should need to strengthen global commerce together and ensure those countries challenged by less resources in reserve have means to recover. We are in it together. Stay home, stay safe, take care. Thank you.
Good morning, esteemed members of the School Managing Committee, Honorable Principal Sir, respected teachers and my dear friends. I am Shifa Perveen of class 12th A. Today, I am going to tell you something about germination seeds, that is, the budding children during the present pandemic. We all know that this is a very difficult and challenging time for all of us. Due to carelessness and ignorance, every sixth person in India is affected by the coronavirus. This year, 2020, has been and is a very difficult time for all, especially the children of lower age group, not able to go to school because of this pandemic. They are the seeds ready to germinate in an amiable ambience. In some schools, online classes are going on, but I don't think it provides any benefits to those children who don't know what a school environment is. They have become calm, sensible, resilient. Why? Because they have to do everything from home and they have seen the worst of time doing everything online from home, quite unaware what classroom activity is. And all activity has to be done indoor. And these children have yet to see normal times with normal teachings. Instead of friendship in the early period, they start knowing about the social distancing. As a result, their interactions and adjustment in society is finished and they will find difficult to adjust. Due to online classes, children's eyesight will also get affected because in the small screen of mobile and computer, many harmful radiations are coming out which can affect eyesight and it is stressful too. As we know, that people comes in all shapes and sizes and have different kinds of skills and abilities, which makes every human being unique and interesting. So, in this lockdown period, we must recognize our child's potential so that their talent does not lie latent. As a community, we will need to continue to work together to create solutions that address future challenges with insight and compassion. Stay home, stay safe, and take care. Thank you.
A very good morning to Principal Sir, members of the School Managing Committee, teachers, and my dear friends. I am Shafak from Standard 12D, and I am here to give my views on the topic the new normal. The new normal. The term has always been handy following some global crisis. The financial crisis of 2007 and 8, the aftermath of global recession, and now as an easy way to quench our uncertainties ushered in by the virus. Well, the term actually has become quite a rhetoric. The year almost stands slipping from within our hold, with no cure so far in sight. What we have in hand is to move on, settling into life under the new normal. Well, actually, this new framing craved is quite inviting. It very politely contents us that things will never be the way as they were. So, welcome a new world order. The new normal sanitizes the idea that our present is okay because our normal is regular. But what exactly is normal about this pandemic? It is not normal for a society to be isolated. It is not normal for students bugging their eyes out for sickening amount of time to attend the classes online. It is not normal for our parents to set up their offices in some idly lying tables of the house. It is not normal for our friends, for our dear friends throwing parties online, oof, savoring all the cakes by themselves. But if this not so normal new normal is normal, we're supposed to get used to it. This morbid reality is now standard. Ironic may I sound, but it's equally important to identify the losses we are feeling and honor the grief surrounding. It's okay to be grieved. It's okay to be scared. It's okay not to be comfortable with what's going on. What I truly feel, all of us should be uncomfortable with our present condition because, as my friends have already mentioned, the new normal is a reality to which many do not have access. It is a world that only functions for the elite. For an average Indian family, if we ponder our existence on day-to-day basis, we do not have luxury to stay home, stay safe. Why should we not just say it? The hunger virus will kill us quicker than coronavirus, while thousands were forced to brave long journeys home. Or should I just say it? Long walks home. I'd be more unbiased. Well, stay at home orders cannot be so humbly fulfilled by more than 100 million people homeless. My friend Amreen just posed in a concept, the Great Reset. Yup, now is the time for a great reset. If there is one silver lining in all this disruption and devastation, it is that the crisis brought an opportunity to rebuild our economy. Though it feels like all is crumbling and the world is falling apart, we'll emerge from hibernation with stronger wings and a fresh new start. So, stay home, stay safe, stay happy. Thank you.
Good morning, esteemed members of the School Managing Committee, Honorable Principal Sir, respected teachers, and my dear friend. Today, I, Mashira Rahman of Class 12B, is going to speak a few lines on the topic the new normal educational system. COVID-19 is an illness caused due to coronavirus, also known as SARS-CoV-2. COVID-19 came into existence in December 2019 in Wuhan city of China. India, along with 210 other countries, is suffering from severe health damage, disrupted education, decreased economy, and many more due to COVID-19 pandemic. As there is no vaccine or medicines for it yet, the government adopted lockdown process around the nation. Due to this lockdown, schools, colleges, and other educational institutions were closed. It has now been about 6 months and still there is no certainty that when they will reopen. At first, these institutions were to be closed on a temporary basis to prevent the infection. But as we all know, it extended. For how long? Nobody knows. The nationwide closure of educational institutions has affected millions of students. There was a need for an alternative of classroom learning. So the very next step was the transition of classroom learning into online learning. Online learning via different digital platforms is now being practiced by the institutions. We are now being familiar with the technology. This is a very good method of continuing education of students. However, for a developing country like India, it still remains a challenge as tutor and learners both are not very much familiar with the online learning methodology. This enhances the risk of low-level teaching by tutor and attention by learner. Moreover, there is an inequality in the online learning accessibility. As per National Sample Survey 2017 to 2018, only 23.8% of the Indian household have internet access. So, those who does not have internet access cannot attend online classes. In addition to this, online classes is suitable only for theory. As for practicals, we do have virtual laboratory, but only few institutions are aware of it. This COVID-19 has forced us and the educational system to transform the conventional way of learning into digital way. The overgrowing rate of COVID-19 cases indicates that this transformation will continue to persist for a long duration. The present condition also demands for the new education policies and technologies before opening of the educational institutions during and post-COVID. Till then, we all must try to adjust ourselves to this new normal. Stay home, stay safe, stay happy. Thank you.
Good morning, esteemed members of the School Managing Committee, Honorable Principal Sir, respected teachers, and my dear friends. I am Priyanshu Preet of Class 12B, here to speak about the vision of a happy world post-pandemic. Life will never be the same. Crisis happened to push us on another path. We have been having an enormous and blind trust towards the globalized world. This will simply change after billions of people are under lockdown for weeks. We will not be able to travel that freely or enjoy the supply chains of the world so easily. Sustainable solidarity and healthcare will finally take center stage. There will be changes at every level of our lives. Maybe we should forget about handshakes. Forever maybe. We will see people wearing masks everywhere, and we will unintentionally keep our distance and be more and more cautious around our elderly. COVID-19 will create a world that is less open, less prosperous, and less free. New habits will arise, from properly washing hands to a better overall hygiene and to entirely new travel habits. The devastation of COVID-19 will vary from country to country, so our globalized world will remain closed down and we would become potential dangers when we travel to other countries. Our experience in fighting the coronavirus reveals both the strengths and weakness of the old normalcy and can guide us as we move forward. The most important of these lessons is that even when we are forced into strict isolation, it is our bonds to each other, our commitment to the community that allows us to sustain ourselves and prevail. Our failure to reduce inequality has made the pandemic worse than it needed to be. Yet, the steadfast reliability and courage of those we have often overlooked and underpaid, drivers, cashiers, mail carriers, janitors, have enabled us to make social distancing work and prevent the collapse of our healthcare system. The biggest lesson from prevention is we need to do more than just taking personal responsibilities for the health and safety of those around us. We must change the system in place to make this easier and more accepted. As there is no specific treatment for this disease, people should understand, take precautions, and be aware of the fake information and myths that may circulate online. We have arrived once again at the boundaries of human race collective knowledge, and it is sobering to be reminded that what we do not know is much greater than what we do know about ourselves and the world we live in. We are not living in fear. We are all living in faith. Stay home, stay safe, take care. Thank you.